The Black Fat Film Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and DoctorJonPaul, LLC.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the award-winning show, Black Fat Film, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul. And I want to start this episode by saying that while I was in Vegas last week, your girl found a Quiznos. And I guess I was living in nostalgia because I am here to report. Chris, put some reporter music over this.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Breaking news. It wasn't good, y'all. It wasn't giving what she used to give. I was so disappointed. I actually saved half of my sandwich and then I tried to eat the other half of it the next day, and I ended up throwing it away because it just it wasn't good. But I did that to myself. I hyped myself up, and so part of this is my fault. But I also, I blame you, Chris and Michelle. I blame Quiznos for the fact that the quality of their food is no longer the same. But I will say this.
Rightfully so.
I know for a fact that Togo still knocks because I had it when I first moved into my new place. And I do know for a fact that Togo's is still that girl. So at least we're one for two. At least we're one for two. But Quiznos, you can go ahead and let that go. It's not good. It's not good anymore.
Oof.
And I see why they went away. But oh well. How are you, Queen Joho?
Okay, but what did you get? Was it the sandwich? Could there have been other things that affected the quality of the dish? I just have questions first.
Yeah, so I got the lobster roll.
That's a new one for them. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, they've had that for a while now. Quiznos has had the lobster roll.
But for a while, how long is a while? I've had Quiznos in a good decade. So when you say a while, how long have they had it?
Ever since I was in college, they've had that sandwich. That's what made me get it, was because I was living off of the nostalgia. So this is what I think happened. Okay. I think my taste buds have changed since my price point has changed. Does that make sense?
So what you just said is that you've outgrown the taste of Quiznos.
I think that's what happened.
And that's fair. That's valid. You're like, I just have different taste standards now. Mm-hmm. And the level has upped, and that's how it goes.
Yeah. It's up and it's stuck. I think my taste buds have changed.
Ice cream, fam. Okay, fam. It's your favorite famous bitch, Jordan or Joho. Can I say someone? So when the ban happened, someone posted that extra from Molly. Try and kill your favorite famous bitch. Yeah, and then I came back. Yes. Hilarious. But I just gotta tell y'all. I just gotta tell y'all though, please get up to talk. Please just get up to talk, y'all. I just want to say, lovingly, beloveds, y'all wild. Y'all wild to us saw a whole band that happened the day before it was supposed to happen, and then it came out the next day, thanking the at that point president-elect and not the actual president. Y'all, I smell a stunt. A stunt had been had. In the way that so many of y'all, no shade, no judgment. Get your lives, girls.
I wish I had a sign that said "chop,"
because the way that some of y'all really jumped into that stunt, I was like, it's a chop for me, y'all. Just get off of it now. It's a chop. It won't be the same. It won't be the same now. Nothing will be the same. So but yeah, that's me. Anywho, y'all, in tradition of celebrating our girl, Miss Tisha Campbell, and the fact that we are, in fact, still here, surprisingly so, after January 20th, I want to ask, with all that's going on, girl, because there's a lot going on right now, what's either keeping you optimistic? And I'm asking for myself, because I don't know what's keeping me optimistic anymore, girl. I'm just here. I showed up to work today, and I said, okay, this is all I got. And then I left work and I said, okay, that's all I had. So, what's helping you, girl?
That's all I got and that's all I had. You know what? That might end up being the title of this episode. That's all I got and it's all I had. I fucks with that heavy. That is a big mood here. Let me write that down. That's all I got and all I had. That's a word. That is a word. That is a Bible scripture. So what I will say is this, I know that you don't have a lot of words of optimism. I will say this. So one, listening to the song by Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic, constantly keeps my head lifted. As long as you keep your head to the sky. That's as much as we can sing so we don't get sued. So I listen to that song constantly when I start to feel kind of low, and feeling as if things are not gonna get better. And it's not even I know a lot of people have been using, well, God's got this and God is in control and all that. Man, bump all that. I'm not trying to hear all that. What I'm saying is, I I believe, I believe that in this life we have seen bad things happen, we have seen worse things happen, and it may feel like things are getting worser, right? But I definitely believe that when we look around at what's going on, there are more people who are on the right side than there are on the wrong. And it may feel like right now that there are a lot of people who are on the wrong side of history, because obviously we're seeing bans, we're seeing people do whatever they can to stop conversations about equity. We're seeing so many people respond. And what I keep telling myself is, this is white supremacy's last grasp at air. And they are doing whatever that they can to keep their positions and their placement of power. So that's one thing I tell myself. The other thing I tell myself, when I think about the word optimistic, I think about our show numbers. I'm watching them grow. I see people reaching out to us and saying, hey, you and Joho have changed my life in this way, or you and Joho's show, down to the point, like, if the show was late, people are hitting me and saying, hey, where is the show, right? We have people who see this show as a beacon of light,
Yeah.
for them each week, right? And so that tells me that we're doing something right. um looking at this idea that we get more mail that says that of how much people love us and appreciate us and our work, versus people sending us hate mail, right? That tells me we're doing something right. So what I'm ultimately saying is that we could be sitting here talking about how terrible the world is. We could be talking shit back and forth about all this stuff, but we have more people who are reaching out to us and asking us about tours, asking us about more connects with other big shows. We're doing the work. And so what I mean by that is, and it's funny because we were talking about this before the show started, for our listeners. We were talking about this idea of, sometimes people saying we love your work, and us feeling like, well, I wish the work was celebrated more. But I'm also taking a step back and saying the right people see us, the right people are being uplifted by us. And I think that's the thing that makes me happy. That's the thing that keeps me going. What I will also say is this, and I'm going to divert from what I initially had wrote in our show flow. Um, I want to shout out Raquel Willis, because I've been following her for the last couple of weeks. She's been posting a lot of good stuff. But something she had posted today that really struck me, and I said, you know what? Because lately it's been, I'll be transparent and saying it's been real hard for me to be, boisterous and quote unquote flashy about a lot of the good stuff we've done, that we have happening. There's just a part of me that there's still that element of, I'm trying to stay humble and not trying to let this, per se, like when I say this, the book, the podcast, the awards, the recognition, the people who know me, like, I'm trying not to let all of that get to my head. But I think that there's something in that Raquel had hit on today in one of their posts. In one of her posts, she had said, we need to show people that we're thriving as well as showing people that we're fighting. And I think that for me has made me really kind of change the perspective of things in the way that I see things. So I'm optimistic that things will get worse before they get better. But I'm also very uplifted in knowing that the right people are seeing us, and the right people are seeing us thrive. So that was my long way of saying all of that. Mhm.
And I have to just say, Raquel, if you listen to this at all, like, seeing you at the People's March speaking, not that I was there, like, seeing the video of you speaking at the People's March was just
Right.
really amazing, and really like full circle, especially from reading her book, The Risk of Taste of Bloom.
Yeah.
Knowing that she began the Women's March and was cut off, to now speaking in front of how many thousands of people at the People's March is really, really, really amazing. And I love that point about, we have to show that we're thriving as well as fighting, because I think then it will subvert people's thoughts of us. People think that queer and trans communities or identities are just people that struggle all the time, but, like, we actually thrive many ways.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I feel
Yeah,
that
but
so
even
very
this
much.
show, I think this show is a great example of that, Joho. I think, for us to have the platform we've had for 3 years, and there are moments where we're just kind of like, oh, no one cares about Black Fat Femme, and then we get that subtle hit, that someone will either, like I said, will send an email or will
Yeah.
stop me in the hallway. I had that happen to me when I was, at Creating Change. Someone ran up to me and said, "Oh my God, one, I didn't know you were going to be here, but also two, I am such a fan of what you do, and I'm so happy that you're here." And it hits, it hits. It really does. Because again, you're seeing another, specifically in that moment, it was a Black femme person, right? You're seeing another Black femme
Mm,
person who is seeing you and giving you, not only are they validating you, but also at the same time, your work is validating them. And so
that's so true.
it may feel like at times, we don't know if we're doing the right thing, or we don't know if what we're doing is ever going to really, quote unquote, make us successful, whatever the fuck that means. But the
Mm,
reality is that it's still, we're telling a legion of people that they have the right to exist, and they have the right to be happy in who they are as they exist. And that for me is
yeah.
what makes me optimistic. When I stay out of
Yeah.
that mindset of they're taking my rights away, and they're trying to take my job, and they're trying to take my money, and they're trying to make my life a living hell. When I live in just that, when I live in just the moment of us two, us sisters, are sitting here, and when we laugh, and when we joke, and when we kiki about shit that nobody cares about, obviously, right? No one cares about Quiznos. But it's the idea that we find fun and we find joy in that 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes of joy that the right
Yeah.
can't take from us. So that for me is what
Yes.
makes me so optimistic. And I'm trying not to get emotional thinking about it, but I just really wanted to say that, like, we have the right to be optimistic and joyful, even in moments when we feel like all we have is darkness.
Whew, girl, you
That's the
said nothing but a
power.
word.
That's the power. Hmm. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
John.
I really felt that today. That's what I've been sitting with. But anyway, all that to be said, while now that we have breathe some light into what feels like a very dark room, we are going to spread some joy in our next category, where this episode, we just gonna be silly. The last few
We're
episodes
gonna
were
be silly.
pretty heavy, where we recognize that in the midst of us having to do what was serious and doing what's necessary, we also can have a little bit of fun. So that's what this episode is. This episode is nothing but fun. Um, and we gonna have a good time. So we will be back after we pay some bills. More in a sec. Okay, so this week we wanted to take a literal page out of our friends to the show, Jared, with two T's, and Travell Anderson's book, which you can find linked to the show notes. It's historically Black phrases, and so we might have mentioned this book some moons ago, but books last forever, honey. We love Black
Okay.
literature,
Hmm.
and so we
And reading
wanted to
is
take a page
fundamental.
out of
So
their book, and we wanted to acknowledge some of the Black phrases that we think are absolutely fantastical and that drive our life. And so, with that being said, I saw a girl do what inspired this episode was, I saw a girl on TikTok. I wish I had her name. I wish I knew the actual TikTok. I saw it a couple of months ago. And she was talking about the 5 different ways that you could say girl. And also kind of like the extension of, like, basically in that way, the extension of the Black telepathy episode that we had. I think it was like episode 125 or like 126, but we talked about Black telepathy and this idea that Black people can say something, and all they have to say is like one word, and they don't have to say anything else. We all know. That's kind of what I wanted to give with this. So, like, how these phrases are so historically Black, but they're also like, we don't have to have the same life to know what these phrases mean. And I think
yeah.
that's the really cool part. So I said, let's discuss that. We'll go ahead and discuss that. We'll get into some other fun, and then we'll go ahead and we'll push the vote forward. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, in this list that we have, so we have quite a list of historically Black phrases. I wanted to ask you which ones are the ones that speak out to you and why.
So the ones are in my common vernacular. It's definitely Boo Boo the Fool. So and
Mm.
so is out here making me look like Boo Boo the Fool. I know who Boo Boo is, and I know why Boo Boo is a fool. But Boo Boo the Fool, and me got me look like him. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I can't stand it
Because I hear you
because
say
it's
that often, and it makes me laugh because it's so true. You'd be like, "Not her out here having me look like
boo
beautiful."
the fool, boo boo the fool, and you gotta be like boo boo the fool. You can't even say boo boo the fool. You say boo boo the fool. Like I mean,
Yes.
just doing that. So that for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Can I
See,
also add honky dory is another one
hunky
right behind
dory.
that. Everybody out here acting like everything is honky
Hunky
dory.
dory, so true. Oh my god, I've heard that in so long. But you
Mm-hmm.
are sorry, which also makes me laugh
Mm-hmm.
because when they say hunky dory, I know honky used to be a term that they would
Terrible.
use for the palm color people, and so I'm like, when you say hunky dory, what that mean?
Mm.
I definitely say you ain't never lied.
See?
Um, I love I I love to say so my dad always says a lot, but what like, if he walked a lot and he was tired, he would be like he'd be like my dogs are barking. And
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I and like nowadays when I like if I go out to the club and I come up home, girl, first thing I said, my dogs is barking, y'all. My dogs is howling. How like I'd be
Oh.
my
Mm-hmm.
poor feetsies just be going through it. I
Yes.
love to say two shakes of a lamb's tail,
Yes. Yes.
which is fun. I got it with my sister, live laugh love her for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one that I don't say often, but I love when people say it because it's just shitty boots down. If you like it, I love it because I'm like, first of all, that's
Yes.
actually not true.
Right.
Because first of all, like no, if they like it, you don't love it, and
Mm-hmm.
all and also if they love it, then what do you do? Okay, if you like, I
Right.
love it, girl. You don't love it. You don't love it more than I do. So don't be out
No.
here lying to me. Out here make me out here look like Boo
Like
Boo the
Boo Boo the
Fool.
Pooh.
No,
Yes. Yes.
it all comes
Uh-uh.
back to Boo Boo the Fool. But
Yes.
that's me.
Yes, no. I live these ones here, I put some of these down because as you all know, so my daddy's family is from Arkansas, which is Arkansas, and my mama's family is from Mississippi. So all they ass is a hella southern, and they all have southern ass sayings and things that just kind of jump out every once in a while when we're having conversations. And so when I was talking to my mom the other day, she was talking about somebody in my family and she was like, they never like to believe that fat meat is greasy. And I know what that means, right? But if you said that to anybody else, they would say, what? Like, what does that mean? And so one of my favorite historically, like, you gonna find out that fat meat is greasy. Basically meaning like you keep fucking around. Like it's basically fuck around and find out. That is
Also,
what
the
that
fat meat
means.
is greasy. I mean,
You
I'm
gonna
like factually, yes, it is. Yes,
yes,
it is,
yes.
and
Fat
I
meat is
live fat meat is
greasy.
greasy.
Some of the other, if you know me very well, you will find one of the things that you'll hear me say randomly is they ain't got two pennies to rub together. So that's another way of saying two broke people or some people who ain't got no money constantly going out doing stuff, but ain't got two pennies to rub together. Basically just saying these people's is broke. Or I'll even say it about myself sometimes, man, child, I ain't got two pennies to rub together. Meaning I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing for you. Um, Another favorite that lives with me is God knows my heart. So if I do something and I know that I didn't do it out of malice, or I didn't do it like I forget something, or I mess around and I'm like, oops, I forgot. Like, God knows my heart. hmm God, no, that God knows my heart. Other ones we love. Whose man's is this?
Who
Right. So
man's
when
is
people
this?
start acting up, that's more of a
Who
New
man's
York
is
phrase,
this?
though. That's more of a New York phrase. I feel like people in New
Okay.
York say that often. But that's a very, very historically black one. But this one is the one for me. You got the right one for the wrong day. hmm Uh-huh.
Because Siren should go off is they are in fact not the right one, but it is the right day for them to go off. Like it's truly
Say it.
what's the word would it be a oxymoron or like a paradox? Like it's truly a paradox.
Yes,
Like no,
you
you
do.
actually have the wrong one.
You
You
do.
actually have
And
you get the right one at the wrong day.
I would recommend. So this is my thing for our non-black listeners. If you ever hear, even if it's not you directly who hears this phrase, if you are in a space and you hear any black person yell out, "You got the right one on the wrong day," my advice to you is to get out of sight.
Seek
Stat.
shelter. Seek.
Because that black people don't just so I'll say this, black people don't just walk into spaces and act up, right? There are people who do. There are some black folks who do,
They're
but it's
pushed.
very, very rare. So when a black person is pushed and then they finally get to that point and then they scream out, "You got the right one." Or let's even go here. Let's go here, Joho. If you hear a black person scream, see what you not about to do. Ah, damn. Hmm. It
Girl,
means
what you don't
people.
want is to be in the crosshairs by accident. What you don't want is to, what you don't want is to catch that smoke, because
Hmm.
that's what will happen to you if you happen to be around. Unfortunately, like black rage, you will be a casualty of war if you are
That
in
part.
if you are
That
in the
part.
vicinity, girl. And I'm sorry, but you can't be upset with us for when,
No.
like, if you catch a stray, you can't be upset because
See,
you stuck
you stuck
around.
around,
Okay,
and we warned you, as listeners. We warned you that this is the best time for you to get out of Dodge. What I will also say is this: that so you've played Mortal Kombat, I'm sure, right?
please,
Okay.
yes.
So I'm just making sure. I'd like to assume.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Yes, yes, yes.
that part. So what I will say is this: if you hear, see what you not about to do, or if you hear first, you got the right one on the wrong day. See what we not about to do is that's a fatality. That
Oh,
is a straight up
finish
combo.
her.
Finish her. That is what I would scream. Oh, that would literally be me if I heard that. Like, time to go because mom about to go off. So just want to share that. We got a few more that we want to share. I love to say if it was a snake, it would have bit me. That is one of my
Ooh,
favorite ones to
ooh.
say. And then so what had happened was
Listen,
that's when you know the good tea is coming.
when someone said what happened was, I said, "Buckle in, bitch. It's
Yeah.
time for a ride. It's
They about
time
to
for a ride."
that part. Yep, it's totally they about to go in for a ride. So I have a couple of honorable mentions. I don't know if
Okay.
any I saw the one at the bottom and lost it. Honorable mentions. Do you have any honorable mentions that you
So,
would like to add?
okay, so this was in there, and I love this because it's like if someone says who made this, who made the, it's never to actually know who made it for
Nope.
a good reason. It's to say who made this, who made the who made the mac and cheese, who
Hmm.
made the potato salad, who made the meat. Like, it's
Yeah.
don't tell them. Don't tell me who made it, because then that
Mm-mm.
person will have hell to pay. It is never for fun. If
No.
I ask you who made this, if I say
Mm-mm.
if someone's at the door and I say who that is, who that
Yeah.
is, tell me who
Yeah.
it is. I don't have to go guessing who
Right.
that is,
Right.
girl. If someone's at my door and I say who it is and they don't announce themselves, I ain't answer the
Yeah.
door, girl. No, I'm
That
done.
part.
I'm done. When you said ain't got popped to piston, so I haven't heard the full phrase before. I always heard ain't got popped to piston, but you add
Yeah.
another one that I had not realized was that completed the sentence.
Yes.
So, and that makes me laugh. I wouldn't have thrown it out of it because that is so true. I mean, pot to piston for sure. I was like, my dad would always say that, and for those who don't know, it was just like basically like if you talking out your neck, you ain't got pot to piston. You got pot to piston, girl, and that's just
Yeah.
how it is. And
Yeah.
I live. So those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, yeah. Or people constantly begging for something. My mama would always say that. People were constantly begging. Lord, they ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. They just broke. They just ain't got
They
nowhere
just
to be, nowhere. Yeah, they just living. Now, my favorite that I added here, I love is God don't like ugly. That is very much
so true.
every time something terrible happens, you always say, God don't like ugly. And so it's just very much given, very black old saying. But the other one too that I'm gonna ask, and I've constantly asked if people if so, oh hey, do you want to go do this? Who are coming? Who are gonna be
Who?
there? That is very much giving.
No, actually, because let me tell you, because recently a friend had invited me out, to to hang out with them and their partner, and then they roll up to my house, and so I go to the back seat. There's two of the bitches in the back seat with them, and I was like, hey, I was not prepared for other
Mm-mm,
people. Girl,
mm-mm.
what if I was looking a mess? What if I
No,
was in sweatpants? What if my
no.
eyebrows weren't done? I came thinking I could be safe with just you and your man's. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with two other people who I had not met yet. And like,
That
was
I
it
do
fine?
not know.
Did I adapt in real time? Sure. But never from now on, whenever my friend asks me, do I do something? I'm gonna say who I'm gonna be there. Because what you're not about to do is have me look like Boo the Fool, acting like I know what's up, and then not know what's up when I get in the damn car. Oh, I was so hot. I
Yes.
was like, oh,
Hmm.
hello, new
Yeah.
friends I have not met before. So nice
Amen.
to meet you today.
That is
Mm.
also that is one of my biggest. I think as I get older, not to tangent too much, but that is one of my biggest pet peeves. Is if I go somewhere and then I invite you, and then I find out, or if we go somewhere, if we're going somewhere, and then you tell me, "Oh, so and so is coming too," and I'm like, "But I don't know so and so, or I didn't invite so and so."
That's great for so and so. If they happen to be
Right,
here, cool. I'm not trying to sit with so and so. Like,
right.
I don't know who so and so is.
Don't do that. Don't do
If
that.
I if I invite you out and we get to a set place and you tell me so and so is coming
Yeah.
and didn't clear it with me first, girl,
Didn't clear it. Didn't clear
girl,
it. Didn't clear
you
it.
have the right one for the wrong day. That's what
That part.
happens.
I
Like,
have politely told friends, look, you are pushing it by constantly doing that. Knock it off.
okay.
So
Also, can I
mhm.
say, speaking of pushing it, just just a phrase that white folks have gone really well is pushing it. Because I'm like, what are you? What am I pushing exactly? It
Yeah.
whatever it is, I'm pushing, and I live.
Yes,
White folks ate
yes.
with that one. You're pushing it. Okay, bitch,
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah. So there's also another TikTok I saw with a girl talking about the different phrases that white people created that that literally ate. The one that will always do it for me is "You're on thin ice, buddy,"
Yeah.
because right, whoever came up with that one, the white folks got that one right. You are on thin ice, not thick ice. You are on thin ice. I know that's right. Yes. Every time I hear a white person say "You're on thin ice, buddy," I'm like, absolutely, absolutely, you're on thin ice. So yes, you are correct. White people ate with both of those. But yes, this was just a great fun time for us to just talk about. No. One more. I'll add one
One more,
more.
yes.
Making a dollar out of 15 cents is very black. I will say this lastly.
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
last one. Who made the potato salad will always be kind of peak blackness. Don't nobody care about nothing else. When you said who made this, I wanted to go back to that because you're correct. If anybody asks who made the potato salad specifically, that means that everything there is nasty. I just want to make
It,
sure I put that out there too.
it
If
is all
anybody asks
trash.
who
Throw it
made
all
this
out.
potato salad, it's not even who made this. If a black person says who made the potato salad, that tells you that everything else is disgusting and you shouldn't eat there. I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, we're done.
Period. I scream. Well, now that y'all know what we mean when we are cackling and cracking the fuck up talking shit on the show, we gotta take a quick break, but we'll be back in two shakes of a lamb sale to dive into some more foolishness with y'all. Mo in just a sec. Okay, fam, we are black, and now that we're talking about black phrases, you probably noticed that one of them that we didn't mention is someone said the Beyonce of black phrases,
Yes,
and that
yes, yes.
is yes, you guessed it, y'all. Do you have McDonald's money? Do you have Beyonce money? Do you have X? Do you have so and so money?
Do
So
you?
I want to take this phrase this week and kind of put a remix on it. Remix because I am sure that many of us grew up not having the money. Okay,
Mm-hmm,
we didn't have
mm-hmm.
so and so money. So I want to ask for this week's how you healing. What's something that you have purchased or are thinking about purchasing that might have healed the small part of your inner child, right? Like what's something that you actually know what like no, I actually do have McDonald's money today, and I'm gonna go get this thing. So yeah, what is
Mm-hmm.
it for you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, since I'm first. Oh Lord. Okay, here we go. I love this question, honestly, because I feel like, again, kind of going back to what I said at the top of the show about thriving. I want to make this very clear too, because this is something that I've been reveling with and I've been kind of going back and forth um with myself, right? Sort of important, but also I'm just talking shit. Um, I hear people talk very openly about how consumerism, how money, how access to money is not going to save Black people. I want to say I agree with that wholeheartedly. But I also want to acknowledge that that is a twofold yes and, right? So I don't believe wholeheartedly that money or consumerism is going to save Black people. However, money and sometimes having money to buy what you need and sometimes what you want can also help heal a lot of the pain that you have. And so I say this as somebody who grew up in a place watching my single mother struggle very hard to pay rent, to keep the lights on, to put food on the table, to make sure me and my brother had clothes, to make sure me and my brother had shoes, to make sure me and my brother had new stuff, right? Not even just clothes and shoes. Like there were moments where I saw my mom go without in order for us to have what we have, or have what we needed. That for me is something that sits with me a lot of times. And so when people look at me and they say, John, you're always talking about a brand, or John, you're always talking about your car, or John, you're always talking about money in some capacity, or blah blah blah. I have to remind people that there are a lot of folks, specifically Black folks, specifically Black queer folks, who went a very long time without the stuff that without payola that they needed in order to survive. And I'll say this, like, I didn't get to this place. Like, a lot of people think of me as flashy and a lot of people think of me as a label whore. Bitch, I just got here. Like, I am 39. And up until probably 35, I struggled. Okay. And when I say I struggled, what that means is there were times where I didn't know where my money was going to come from for rent. I didn't know where money was going to come for me to be able to find an outfit to go to the shoot that someone wanted me to do, or to be on this show, or to do X, Y, and Z, right? I just got to this place now where I can walk in. Like, I had a moment today, and I'm going to save it for my no Ma'am Pam, but I had a moment today, and it was the first time. I wouldn't say it's the first time that I could do it, but it is the first time that I actively, like, in my head, knew that this was like, oh, okay, girl, you've moved into a different price point in your life. And so I say all of that to say, to the point, so I feel like I'm getting very preachy. I think the one thing that is simple for me is, one thing about DoctorJonPaul is she is gonna eat out. Okay. I don't care if there is food at home. I don't care if someone has cooked food at home. If you've cooked food at home and I'm hungry right now, I am going to get something to eat. I'm not waiting to get home to eat. Is it wasteful? Possibly, right? But one thing about DoctorJonPaul is that she is not going to be hungry. And that is because I find joy in being able to swipe my card, knowing I can eat anywhere and everywhere I want to eat. Because growing up, we couldn't. So I'll even say this. Last week when I was out in Vegas, I took my mom to go see a show. I took my mom to dinner, and the bill came and I paid for it, right? And we were just talking and talking and talking. And we were talking about something, and it came up, and and I asked my mom, I said, Mom, why didn't we ever do X, Y, and Z? My mom said, because we couldn't afford it. That was just her response. We couldn't afford it. And I was like, oh, you're right. We couldn't afford it. Okay, whatever. Right. And we moved on. But what I'm saying is now I'm in this place of, if I want to go to Spago, if I want to go to Nobu, if I want to go to Jasmine, if I want to go anywhere, any of these top restaurants, I'm going to go because I can. And so that for me is what brings me joy, is being able to know. And not only that, too, knowing that I can go to a restaurant and pay a meal and my mom can order anything she wants off the menu. That's a big thing for me. It's kind of a payback to her of saying, like, you struggled to raise me, and now I'm in a good place, and now you're in a good place. So
that's what it is for me as well too. Like, it's not buying something for myself, but being able to give or get something for someone else. Like, having the means to give someone some money or a resource, and not expect it back, right? Like, to do it and be like, if I part with this, that's actually okay with me. Or buy someone groceries if they need support. That healed my child, because growing up, my dad my dad would ask my mom for money to help his kids, and eight out of 10 times that money actually never went to helping his kids. It would go to drugs or drinks. He was unfortunately lying to us the way it was going to, right? So I grew up one feeling helpless myself, but also being like, oh, wow, dad was so good, he would help all his kids. And then growing up, they're like, he didn't
help me.
And I'm like, and like like I can actually help people, right? I know I was like, wait, girl, you mean all the times where dad was out here hustling me for my allowance lunch money? He was out here doing coke. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I'm out here being hustled by this man, by my own father. Live, laugh, love you in heaven, but goddamn, well, if you're there, live, laugh, love you, baby, but goddamn,
wherever
listen,
you are,
wherever you are,
girl.
so just like knowing that I can help my people and knowing that it actually helps them. To me, is like it was probably in the chat, right? Having the means to do that however whenever I want to. I mean, not whenever, because there are times where sometimes I can't, but having the means to do so mostly makes me feel healed, because it lets me know like I'm in a place that like my parents weren't, right? Or I mean, or even that point, right? Like just about my dad, that I actually can do what I say I'm gonna do. Like I'm somebody that I do what I say I'm gonna do 9.5 times out of 10, because I grew up with somebody who did not do that, and it's important to me to do that. And so it heals my inner child to say I will show up the way that I said I'd show up for somebody or myself, because I didn't have that. So yeah,
that's real. You speak very much to it, and it's like I said, kind of back to my point up top, right? That these are the different ways of showing, showing yourself, where you've been and where you are now, right? And you know, I understand that addiction is hard, and and maybe one day down the line we'll do a full episode where we talk about addiction and how it's impacted us. My dad was also a drug addict as well, and so there were moments where, like, even my mom at dinner, we were talking. My mom was saying, you know your father took the money out of your piggy bank, or took food out of my money out of my wallet, to do X, Y, and Z. And so I think sometimes, when I think about that, it makes up for me also, one, wanting to help my mom and leading my mom to having everything that she wants, but also at the same time too, it reminds me, of where I've been and what I've been through as a kid, and where I am now, and why I'm so happy. Even just recently, like I said, when I was in Vegas, I walked into the Louis store. Y'all know one thing you're gonna know about me, and I've learned to not have no shame about it, is I am a Louis Vuitton addict. I don't even want to say whore. I'm a Louis Vuitton addict. I love everything that they do. I love the stuff that I love, their perfumes. I love their bags. I love their charms. I love everything about Louis Vuitton. And I just want to, I normally carry a travel size set of one of their perfumes. And I told myself, I was like, girl, you already on like set number 3 of these travel ones. Just buy a bottle.
okay.
Girl, like, just buy a bottle, because you over here spending all this money on these travel sizes. But just go in and buy a bottle. And I did. I just walked in and bought a bottle, and as much, I saw another black TikToker talking about this. She was like, if I'm gonna work as hard as I work, I'm gonna get what the fuck I want. And that's real. Like, I feel like if you are a person you're going to work, you're working with a whole bunch of white people who don't want you there. You're putting up with all of these things on your plate that you probably shouldn't be doing at work any goddamn way. You're probably not getting paid what you deserve. Um, why turn around and come home and be like, oh, I can't have this because I have to save? Bitch, if you die tomorrow, you're not gonna have what you want. You're gonna be 3 feet down in the ground. So buy now, and again, I say all of this within reason, right? There's the kid in me, and then there's the adult me. That's how I rationalize things. The adult me will say, John, girl, you are still waiting on these checks. Slow down, right? But the child in me is saying, get what you want. You didn't have it, when you were 15 and 16. Get what you want. And so when the adult can talk to the child, and tell the child, hey, sometimes you got to slow down, pay these bills, make sure you're good. All right, let's have that conversation. But I'm a big proponent of, baby, if you got a little bit of extra coin, take care of yourself. Do something nice for yourself, because the world ain't gonna do it for you. If you got the McDonald's money, if you got the Beyonce money, do something nice for yourself. So, hmm especially now, because
Girl,
who knows how long we're gonna have it?
girl.
My God, what a moment!
My God, these next 4 years.
What a
What a
moment!
moment! What a
That
moment!
is least pleasing to me.
That
Least
is
pleasing.
what is least pleasing to me.
Oh, what a moment that is least pleasing to me. That,
Scream.
God, we stand you, Whitney. You should still be here. But anyway, all
Oh.
that to be said, we want to make sure that our McDonald's money keeps coming in. So we have to take a short break and listen to some of our sponsors. But when we get back, we are going to jump into your favorite segment. Yes, ma'am. And no, man, Pam will be more. And we'll be back in a sec. All right, y'all. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump in. I have quite a few no man Pams this week, and so I'm gonna start off my yes ma'am with something I think is I don't so you tell me, Joho, because you tend to be more of the political one, the poli sci girl than I am. So I wanted to acknowledge I saw this, and I don't know if this is truly so. This might be a yes ma'am with an asterisk.
Okay.
So as Biden left the Oval Office, he pardoned Marcus Garvey on the way out the door, and then he also pardoned Black National. Um, Here, let me reset that. So I don't know. So Chris, we'll go ahead and cut, and we'll reset from here. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. This might be a yes man with an asterisk, but I wanted to get your take on it before we go around giving Biden some claps, because right now I'm only giving him two finger claps. Um, really, he's not getting a whole clap from me. He's getting two fingers.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
That's so fair.
Only two fingers. But he pardoned Marcus Garvey on his way out.
Hmm.
For those of you who don't know who Marcus Garvey is, he was the black nationalist who influenced Malcolm X and other civil rights leaders and was convicted of mail fraud in the 1920s.
Hmm.
Um, Also, he pardoned top Virginia lawmakers and advocates for immigrant rights, criminal justice reform, and gun violence prevention. So, I'm hearing people celebrate these things, but I'm also on my mind of like, I'm also seeing some people throw some shade back. So I'm trying to figure out, should we be clapping for Biden as he leaves office doing this, or what?
Yeah, no, great question. So
Hmm.
it's hard. It's hard because, I mean, this is this is a challenging question because okay, I mean, because someone like so like Marcus Garvey was a was I think for some a controversial figure in the black
Okay.
community in
Okay.
the 20s 30s. I mean throughout his work, right?
Hmm.
Because he was he was a big proponent of the Back to Africa movement, right? He was a black nationalist, and he was from Jamaica, I believe. Black nationalist, so like really believed in like he was amazing. Black Power movement. I'm trying to figure out how to say watch what I say because I'm not trying to make one mad. From my understanding, and obviously, right, this is way before my time. I I imagine he did great work, right? He influenced people like Malcolm X,
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
influenced people like Malcolm X. He influenced people like MLK Jr. Like people did love the work that he did,
Right.
and for some people, his work was controversial because it involved like having an exodus from America, which some people were like, hell yes, let's do it, and some people were like, I don't know about all that, right? There he did believe I believe he believed in racial separatism, um, so like how do you define separatism? But basically, like,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
basically believed, let's call a spade a spade. And I've heard other black people say this still, that he was part of the people who believe that, and I might be talking out of my ass, but from what I understand, he believed that separate was good for black people. Like we were supposed
yes.
to be not we
Like,
like
would he say
yeah.
separate but equal? I can't say that he would or would not, but but his separate was more about us going back to the ancestral homeland, right? And
Yeah, take
so
us
I
back to
think
Africa. Hmm.
yes, and so I think some people are like yes, some people are like no. So I think like I know it's like I think it's hard. It's hard. He founded, I believe it was the Black Star Line, which
Hmm.
was to provide transportation to Africa, which is also what he got the mail fraud for. Was like I think like the sale of it was like a mail fraud and the sale of stock for it. So like it's then he was reported. So I think the pardoning was good because in the day he was inspiration for civil rights activists, and at the end of the day he like as a black person that in that time, there's no doubt that he was disproportionately disproportionately affected due to his race, like by the law, because white folks have done way worse and gone away
And
with
still,
much more.
still.
You know, and still do. So I think the pardon, like, I think it is good to celebrate that, and also some people have different takes on celebrating Marcus Garvey. I personally don't know so much about him. I know that he also he also really inspired like a lot of like he's partially inspired the Black National Islam movement, which led to people like Louis Farrakhan, who I could never say a good thing about personally.
T.
You know, and you know, but he also did help people like really believe in their blackness more and help black folks have more, really did uplift black folks and give them help us feel them, help them feel more dignity back in the 1930s and 40s. So I'm like, yeah. So I'll just say like 2 finger claps I think is appropriate. I wouldn't do a ruckus applause, but I would say like that is good that he did that, you know. But on the same, it's also all performance, right? Like, okay, like you're pardoning somebody who died, so it's like it's all performance. I think the person, you know, the other lawmakers he pardoned as well, like that is nice, and also like, girl, these are people who, I mean, some people who are no longer here, some people who are still here. I know that he pardoned. I think the name was like Ravi Ragbir, who
Mm-hmm.
was the victim of a nonviolent offense and I think was deported or was facing the deportation back to
Mm-hmm.
Tobago. You know, I still pardon them, which I think is good because it does good 'cause it like clears their record for them, so that is good.
Right.
But I don't know, like it's hard. It's all hard stuff personally.
I feel it. I feel it. Okay. So, like I said,
It's
I
a
just
long
saw
answer.
that. Yeah, I saw that on NBC Black, and I just was like, should we be excited about this or should we not? I don't know. And so I want to say that before y'all start, trying to say y'all supporting this X, Y. No, we are trying to find the nuance, like we always do in every conversation that we have. And I was just wondering if we should be excited about it. But either way,
Yeah.
even if it is performative, I do sometimes think that it's necessary, right? It's necessary. So it is what it is. Okay, well, moving on. Because like I said, I was scouring the net, honey, trying to find
Trying
us
to find someone. Yeah, I'm like,
something good, and I was like, this is probably gonna have to do. And at this point, we just got to take it where we can get it. My no man Pam this week. So I was going to go off on a random nobody gives a fuck tangent about some stuff. But so I have two, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna scratch the original one I was gonna do, and I'm gonna go ahead and save part of it for after what I'm about to say. But I'm gonna say this, and it actually probably relates to some of what my other no man Pam was. So, I want to say this. So yes, this is how it relates, but I'm gonna extend it and make it longer. I want to say this. I've been noticing as I go out to eat, as I go to restaurants, as I go out to buy things, um, Target, whatever the case may be. I've been noticing people are becoming more and more rude to the people who are working there. And I just want to say, if you're going somewhere like, regardless of where you're going, it can be a hotel, it can be a restaurant, it can be a plane, wherever you are traveling. People are dealing with some really heavy shit right now. Please try to be nice. Please try to be nice. Please try to act like you got some damn sense. But more than ever, please stop acting like you're better than the people who are
girl.
working these jobs. That is something that I really hate. And I see a lot. I see very much in just me being out and traveling and doing stuff. I see a lot of people who try to act like they're better than the people who are helping them. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who's come from that, yes, I've worked in fast food. Yes, I worked at a Starbucks. Yes, I've worked in customer service. Like I've done all of those things. It really, like, you can need that job as quick as you think you are at the top of things. So I want to say that
T.
before I spiral or before I go off about what I'm about to say off next, right? So balance, duality. What I will also say is this: on the flip, I went into a store today, and I'm not going to say the name of the store that I went into. And the person was helping me. I was being very nice, very cordial, trying to go on just, hey, I have a question about this bag. I was like, basically, I forgot. Well, I didn't say I forgot. I made the stupid decision to not bring a brown bag with me. And I've realized that a lot of the stuff I'm wearing is brown. And because I have a type A personality, I am annoyed that I have to rock a black bag with a lot of colorful items that I have. So that's just me being me. I went into the store looking for a brown bag to have with me at this conference. And as I was talking to the person who was helping me, you already probably know where this story is going to go. Um, the person, so I was looking at two different bags. And I pointed at one bag and I was like, oh, that bag is cute. Is there a way for me to find out if that bag is in the store? And the person was like, yeah, I have to go to the back. It's saying we have three, but I have to find them. Okay, fantastic. I look at another bag and I said, oh, that bag is also cute. The only thing I noticed is that it doesn't have a zipper. I said, do you have that bag in stock? He looked at me without even saying anything. He said, yeah, well, the bag that other bag, that bag is not on sale. And I looked at him and I said, but baby, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if you had that bag in style. Like, if you have it in the store. I didn't ask you. So what am I rambling about? I'm really annoyed
You're
by people
like,
who
girl, I
work.
asked if it was on sale. I
I didn't
said,
ask you if it was on
do
sale,
you have it in
sis.
stock?
I wanted to know if you
That's
had it in
great. I'm
stock.
not on sale either. Good. Are you in the back or not?
I really need people to check. So that's my long way of saying, I don't know
Check
if it's the right
themselves.
way of saying, I need you to check your inherent bias. I
Mm.
really need people to check their inherent bias because, and I want to be. Let's also get into the weeds of it. It was not who you think who said it to me. Let's talk
You know,
about
for what?
that.
It really be your own.
It really be your own. So I really need people to check their inherent bias, because I just want to make sure people understand. And again, I don't know if that was malice. I don't know if that was me. I don't know if that's me projecting because I've had so many bad experiences in high end stores buying stuff. I don't know if that was his intent, but I just want to say, like, as a general, very general statement, out of the projection, just make sure you're
I mean,
checking your inherent
if I ask you a
bias.
question and your answer doesn't answer my question, what was the reason you gave the answer? Like, yes. Like, I also want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and also, girl, if I asked you, do you have it in stock, and your response was, it's not on sale. Cool. I asked you if it was in stock. Like, what? What was the reason why you gave me the answer, girl? I'm like, what do you? I
What
don't
was
understand,
I
bitch.
don't
I
under,
don't
I literally,
understand.
if I
Like,
had the time to duck walk in that store, I would have. But I was in a rush and I was trying to find a brown bag
like,
before I hit my next meeting. So part of me didn't even want to get into the weeds of
yeah,
being like, what is this? Part of me
yeah,
was like, do you have the bag or not? They didn't have the bag. I left.
yeah.
But I say that to say that. My last thing I want to say on this episode before I throw it back to you, Joho, is I am sick and tired. Kind of to your point earlier about TikTok, I'm sick and tired of the niggas who are already crying about what's happening. Girl, we told you, and you didn't want to listen. The leopards are now eating your face. Have a nice day. What are your yes ma'ams and no ma'ams for this week?
So my no man Pam, I'll go with that first. Everyone trying to drag our friend Francesca Ramsey
Mm.
for her post need to stop. She got lit up for making a post about it's messy, but like she made a post of like she needs she's more of a reason than like XYZ is black owned like for her to support it.
That's fair.
Like,
I actually support that.
that actually that like that's actually not a hot take. Like, let me
No,
be
it's not.
clear. Like, just something is you know is insert minority insert something owned does actually not like does not mean that someone like surprisingly for some people does not mean that you actually owe them
Nope.
to do the thing.
Nope.
Also, if you don't like if you don't like that about the person, you don't have to follow them.
You don't have to
You can
follow them.
just not say anything.
Unsubscribe. Move on.
Surprise. Like she actually, and surprising to some, owes you nothing.
Hmm.
She is allowed to unabashedly feel how she feels regardless, and also like she's not wrong.
No.
Listen, there are a lot of things that white folks have made that I do not enjoy, so I don't buy them. I would rather opt for a black owned, queer owned, Jewish
Mm-hmm.
owned, Latino owned thing because the product is better and makes sense, and it's also owned like by the daddy. But
Mm-hmm.
but like if the product or service isn't good, girl, it's just not good. Like people are
Right.
going up,
Regardless of who
are
made it.
going up about and the thing is like the issue about not using the product isn't because of their daddy. It's because it's not good. It's yeah, like it's just y'all need to calm down. Like go touch some grass.
People
Like
are looking for a reason to
stop
be.
dragging
Well,
somebody.
yeah.
And you and in that same vein, like trust me, I see things every day from people that I'm like, this isn't it. And you know what I don't do? I don't comment saying this isn't it, girl. Why? Because it actually is not my business. I truly am unconcerned if this person thinks XYZ. Sometimes I will do something right. I posted a story in response to a response to something that happened at the inauguration. But like that's because like I feel fine targeting an organization that I don't align with, like in a public
Mm-hmm.
way. I don't need to go on a person's messaging and be like, this is a bad take, girl. All takes are bad takes. All takes are good takes. Like all takes are takes, regardless. Like just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Go find something else to like have a take on. For 14 hours when America was blocked from TikTok, it seemed like the people of TikTok were having a great time. They were like, wait, is everyone actually nice here? And I was like, oh, it sounds like maybe people understand that you can just keep your opinions to yourself because they actually don't, they're not about you. Like, you can just stop. So, now maybe him to that. My Yes
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am Pam is to the movie One of Them Days, produced by Issa Rae, starring Kiki Palmer and SZA, and directed by. I'm not sure. I give acknowledgement to the director of
I know
that
that's
show,
right.
directed by Lawrence Lamont. This was such a great film movie. First I was like, this is a great movie because
I would say.
yep. Not always, I would say. Chris, cut that. Let me just reset that report real quick. This was a great movie. This movie was so much fun, so hilarious. Like if you like Bridesmaids, if you like Girl Trip, if you like shit like White Chicks, like this is like that feel good comfort film you can watch over and over again.
Okay.
The shit was
Good
just
to know.
mad funny. I would watch this several times. SZA, hilarious. Keke Palmer, obviously hilarious. Like everything about it was just so good. It really was also like kind of like a love letter to LA in some ways too, especially poignant given what's happening in LA with the fires. Like super black. Had some great black actors. Like had Gabrielle Denise, had Dwayne Perkins in there. Like some people that I really love to see. Cat Williams was a fun cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it was a great movie. I loved it so much. If you haven't seen it yet, please see it ASAP because it was so good, and I cannot wait for it to come out on streaming because I will definitely buy it. It's a black
Yes.
comfort film for me.
I love to hear that. I wish I'm in a place right now where I don't really have the time to break away to go see it.
Yeah.
But when I do get a moment of downtime, I definitely do plan to go make that. Either I'm gonna see it in theaters or eventually when it comes out on video demand, I will make sure that I buy it just to make sure that they still get their money, they get their coin
Mm.
for that film. Because again, like a lot of people, same thing. I'm gonna take a moment to just plug this book, but at the same time, I'm gonna say the same thing I've been saying
Rightfully so. Pull that book, girl.
when you support stuff when it first the first those first couple of days when something drops, even up to it, right? So the press is important for to tell people go buy it, to go watch it, but even in that first couple of days, those numbers matter because it tells publishers, it tells the companies that providing money to these creators to make these films, that there is a want for it. And so if we're not supporting the work, obviously it's not going to keep getting made. We're not going to keep seeing Kiki Palmer and really good, I wouldn't even call it a rom-com, but comedies that focus on black girl, black people shit. So please, please, please support stuff. It's like support in the words
Mm-hmm.
of Xavier XD, support black art. Like we really need to make sure that we're doing what we can where we can. If you can't get to the theaters, because I do recognize that there's still some people who are very anti going to a theater, make sure you buy it when it comes out on video demand. You can make sure you stream
Mm-hmm.
it. Make sure that you're telling people who do want to go to the theaters to go watch it. But yeah, that's a very, very, very good point. I love that. And like I said, when I get some time, I'm definitely going to go see it. All right. Well, with that being said, please send us your thoughts, your feedback, and your email to blackfatfempod@gmail.com, whether you want to add it. If there are historically Black phrases that we missed, if there are phrases that we mentioned that have
Let us
different
know.
meanings for you, let us know. We would love, like, we love seeing the emails. We've seen an uptick in them, so it's really, really cool to see that people are vibing with a lot of the stuff that we're putting out there. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our posts on Instagram and Blue Sky by using the handle Black Fat Fem Pod. That's BLK, not black as in BLACK. It's BLK because Instagram tried to play in our face. We are no longer on X. Just letting you all know. So if you're looking for us there, you will not find us. Queen Joho, where can the dogs find you?
My loves, as always, you can find me at Joho Downs across all socials. My website, JordanDowns.com. You will not find me in my comment section if you're trying to come at me sideways, girl. I will not respond, right. Beloved. Live, laugh, love, but I actually owe people nothing. Like, don't. Try God, not me.
Try God, not me. What a moment. That is a word. That is a word. I also agree in that. Don't try us. Try your local church.
Okay.
Try your local mental health office. Try Kaiser Mental Health Services. Try anybody. Right. Try Trader Joe's. Try Aldi. You can try Jack in the Box, but don't try us because we are not the one or the two. Another historically Black phrase. Okay, for that ass. With that being said, you can buy my book at www.drjohnpaul.com. If you click the little book thing at the top, it'll take you right there. You can pre-order. There are some really tasty treats that are coming along with that. You'll also be seeing a little bit more video promos from me throughout the next couple of weeks, kind of just promoting, letting people know, like, hey, girl, come on down. Go ahead and swipe this book for the $28 hairs. You can, girl, please. You can also find me on all socials, but you can also exclusively find me on Blue Sky at DoctorJonPaul.blue. Well, we've reached the end. This is where we thank our producer, Bay Wang, for handling all of the logistics to our show, and also give love to everybody down to the iHeart Media for keeping the show up and running. My God, we are so thankful. We are so very, 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 very appreciative of all the love and support that we get from the people down to the iHeart Media and the iHeart Podcast. We also like to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, we would have no show or visuals. And if you have yet to go down to the YouTubes, check us out down over at YouTube's.
Get on it, girl.
Full versions of the show you can watch for free, baby. Most people put their visual stuff behind a wall.
We can monetize, but we not. So for free, get while you can, girl, while it lasts, while it's hot.
Well, it is like the Krispy Kreme sign. It's red, fresh and hot, and ready every Tuesday. Go on down to YouTube and watch us be silly with the visuals, right? With the visuals. This has been another show. Stay Black, Fat, Femme, and Fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be your cup of tea, but drink some more, girl. You probably need it anyways, okay?
No, that's right. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.